Hey girl, welcome to the Feminine Founder Podcast, where we are all about learning and growing professionally so that we can build a life that we are proud of and really love. My name is Caroline, and I'm a LinkedIn expert, obsessed with teaching female entrepreneurs how to start, grow, and scale their personal brand and business on LinkedIn. This podcast is all about sharing our stories and learning from each other on how to navigate our professional journey so that we can live our best lives. So if you are just starting your entrepreneurial journey or you are growing and scaling an epic company, you're in the right place, friend. Today, I have my friend Robyn Engelson with me. Robyn is an energy solution coach, keynote speaker. She helps business leaders regain energy without spending hours in the doctor's office. She has a podcast called The Robyn Engelson Show. She's a hip hop dancer, a mom, and new author to Exhausted to Energized. Welcome, Robyn.
Thanks, Caroline. I'm so happy to be here.
So tell me about where you are now and how did you get there? I want to hear your story.
Absolutely. Thanks for asking. So I have an advertising and marketing background, and I was doing that very successfully. And I had a 3.5-year-old little boy and was trying to get pregnant with another child, and I couldn't get pregnant. And so when you have a child, you're thinking, what's wrong? Something's got to be happening. So I went and got tested and had lots of tests done. And I came out with an autoimmune disease called Hashimoto's, which is a thyroid autoimmune disease, which is not life-threatening, but is definitely life-changing, and some other medical complications. And then it was a 2.5-year journey of literally going from exhausted to energized because I got sicker and sicker and sicker from the medication. And the doctor kept telling me that I was fine based on my blood work, but I wasn't because I had to stop working. I was in bed 12 hours a night. My hair was falling out. My nails were brittle. My brain fog was severe. My muscles ached. My body ached. I just hurt. I couldn't take care of my toddler. I was miserable, like literally miserable, going from a high-functioning corporate mom going downhill fast, like super fast. And so over a 2.5-year journey, I figured out how to help myself, how to, like I said, go from exhausted to energized. And what I did was I just leaned in, right? I literally leaned in and found my heart and how to love myself and how to fuel my body with proper nutrition, how to exercise my fitness to fuel for my autoimmune disease and what I was doing. And also I figured out accountability. And had multiple people actually, that helped me get to where I wanted to be, and mindset. And that was the key to everything. I was able to change my mindset as a model of positive change and really just reframe the programming in my mind from my past, because a lot of things were coming up that weren't related to my illness from my childhood and other things in my life. And I was able to overcome that. And so, Caroline, when you're not feeling well, you're not outside with your kid, you're not hanging out with the other moms, you're not going out with your friends, you're not out with your family, you're definitely not on social media. That was 2.5 years. And then I started to feel better based on my nutrition, fitness, mindset, and accountability. And I always thought I'd go back to advertising and marketing. That's what I knew, that's what I loved. But my friends and neighbors started asking what I was doing. And so I started to help them, because I started going social media again, started being out with the kids again, and the moms, and my friends, and my family. And so I helped them. And they got results in their nutrition, fitness, mindset, and accountability in a very short amount of time. I was able to compress time for them in less than 90 days. And that took me 2.5 years. So I started to develop clientele. I started to post about this on social media. And here I am 13 years later as an energy solution expert. And that's how I arrived to where I am today.
I love your story. And I love that you share and pour into your clients what took you 2.5 years and condense it down to 90 days for them, because that is a serious game changer, whether or not you have an autoimmune disease or not.
Correct.
I mean, to have a huge lifestyle change like that, an energy shift, a mindset shift, an accountability shift, that's a game changer right there. Which leads me to my next question. So on your LinkedIn profile, you have that in your business, you energize executives to start living instead of existing through nutrition, fitness, mindset, and accountability. Okay, tongue-tied up there. So tell me, I want to kind of break each piece down. So let's start with the nutrition piece.
Okay.
Why is what we fuel our body with so important?
Yep. So here's the thing. People think that they're healthy, But when you really dive into it, most people are not. Most people aren't, right? And so nutrition is so important because what you eat fuels your body. It sustains your energy. It helps you with clarity, right? It helps you not be bloated. It helps you not be constipated. It helps you literally run your day. So if you're not eating all day, or you're eating the wrong foods like pizza, ice cream, all of that stuff, not saying it's bad for you once in a while, but every day, all day, if those are your meals, you're eating a lot of empty calories and empty carbs, then you're going to feel like crap. You're going to have sugar rushes. Right? You're going to have that, I call it like the jitters, right? And then you're going to crash, kind of like coffee, right? If you have multiple cups of coffee each day, you're not going to feel good, and you're going to be relying on it to keep your energy up when in fact it's hurting you, right? And so when we fuel our body with the proper nutrition, when we eat according to how our body type is and what we want to do with our life and what we're doing during the day, and we may eat a little bit more often with smaller quantities, higher protein, healthy carbs, healthy fruits and vegetables, then we start to feel better. And you'll notice it very quickly, right? Within a day or two, you'll notice your energy's higher, your brain fog is gone, you have complete clarity, and you just feel good, right? There's something to say that you don't know how bad you feel until you feel better, right? So when you do feel better, it's a game changer. And nutrition plays such a huge part.
I want to add to that too. When you feel better, you perform better. And I don't care if you're an entrepreneur listening to this or you're a corporate girly, you can actually perform and do your job better, whatever that looks like, if you are fueling your body the right way.
100%. And I want to add to that too, as an athlete, and following different athletes too, athletes have certain regiments that they follow. And there's a reason for that. To your point, Caroline, they perform better when they're on their regiment, right? And their nutrition is on point. Yes. And you are going to perform so much better in the workplace, whether that's at home or in the office with colleagues, and also just being a mom as well.
So let's shift to the fitness piece. Why? And I'm a fitness girly. I get up every day at 5 o'clock and I'm at the gym at 6.
Yes, you do.
And that's just what I do Monday through Friday. It starts my day the right way. And if I don't have energy to go to the gym, I actually don't want to be there. But I know after I do it, I will feel better. And so,
right.
So I do it. So let's talk about that piece. So pairing that piece with the nutrition.
Absolutely. So fitness, like I mentioned, I'm an athlete. I'm an ex-cardio junkie, and I'll explain that in a moment. So, exercise is so important. Everyone is an athlete. If you walk daily, you're an athlete. If you jog, if you bike, if you play pickleball, if you play tennis, whatever you do, you are an athlete because you're moving your body, right? And movement is medicine. So I used to be a cardio junkie. I used to only ride my bike, only run, only dance. And cardio is great. But for someone who has an autoimmune disease, and also women, men, when you're aging, cardio can be detrimental to you. And also, especially if you're looking for weight loss, right? And to define your muscle, right? Lean muscle. Because what cardio does, if you do it all the time, and especially HIIT cardio, which is high intensity interval training. And for listeners, what that means is if you're on a bike and you go 30 seconds sprinting and you rest 15 seconds, 30 seconds again, rest 15, right? And that's not bad. But if you do it consistently every single day, you're raising your cortisol, which is your stress level, which you're actually going to gain weight in your belly area, and you're not going to gain lean muscle, nor are you going to lose weight. So what you need to do is shift that a little bit and do that maybe twice a week, right? Or every other day, and start lifting hard stuff, right? Lift your weights. Lift weights, right? Weight training is so important. And it doesn't have to be heavy weights. It can be free weights. It can be in the gym, whatever works for you. If you're not familiar with it, definitely get a trainer or watch some videos online, as you don't want to injure yourself. But weight training is the key to helping you feel good and getting your desired results. And when you pair that with your nutrition, right? You're fueling your body for your workouts, you're going to feel even better, right? Like you're going to feel so good. You're going to feel stronger, which makes you feel more confident, and you're going to perform better, right? So it all plays into the pieces of the puzzle.
I think for me, with the nutrition piece, and I practice the 80-20 rule. So 80%, I'm very clean, organic. I try to buy local meats, local. I live by the coast in South Carolina, so I try to buy local fish as much as possible. We have a local fish market. But I also have to allow myself some grace to have some deviations of pizza and sushi and Mexican food. And so I do the 80-20 rule. So 80% clean, 20% is the wine, the cheese, and the carbs.
100%. And that's called living, right? Like that's called living. And there's one word I dislike so much, which is called dieting. Like if you diet, you are on a roller coaster hamster wheel and you're never going to be getting results, right? So I love that you just said that, Caroline. That's really well said.
Yeah, I'm not a diet fan either. I've never done a diet. I don't ever plan on doing a diet. I just try to plan on doing these things, and I do it with intention. So as long as I plan, I set my alarm clock every day to go to the gym. I have the meals prepared, and I don't do this whole fancy meal prep. I go to the seafood market on Tuesday, and I buy fish the rest of the week, and we eat fish and vegetables until the weekend, and then the weekend we fall off the rockers a little bit, but then we get back on it on Monday. And so it just takes a little planning to do that. Okay, so we've got our bodies in a good spot. We're working out. We're eating clean. Why is the mindset shift and the mindset piece so important?
That is the key. That is the glue that holds the puzzle together. Because if we do not change our mindset, then nothing changes. Because nothing changes if nothing changes. So in order to invoke change, we get to change our mindset as the model of positive change, right? So if we had different nutrition habits or different exercise or fitness habits, we get to retrain our mindset to be able to get to do those, right? And so many times when I'm working with people, it's that it has nothing to do with what they're doing in the moment. It has everything to do with their past, their childhood, their upbringing, someone that said something to them, and it carries through their life and it's weighing on their shoulders and they have no idea. So in order to change that, we get to reprogram our mind so we think differently, right? So we can be proactive instead of reactive and not have triggers literally devastate us in the results that we're going for and living in life. So mindset is so key and so important to all areas of your life, but especially when it comes to nutrition and fitness and getting results and feeling good so you can thrive.
I'm going to add to that I think it's really important to be kind to yourself and talk to yourself with kind words rather than mean words, because that really goes a long way. Okay, so what if someone's listening to this and they're like, okay, I want to have a different mindset shift. Where do you start in that category?
Yep. Great question, because most people don't have any idea. And I didn't at first either, right? So the best way to start is first, you have to have awareness that you want to change, right? Because without awareness, you have no idea that who you are and what you're doing on a daily basis. So you have to have awareness that you want to change, right? And then there's little things like I love what you said, Caroline, as far as being positive and kind to yourself. So I call them positive talk and positive affirmations, right? So it's like, sometimes something happens, you're like, oh man, how could I let that happen? What the heck's wrong with me? If you change just little words every day, right? 1% better every single day. So we're like, I can't believe that I did this, but it's okay because I know next time I'm going to be better, right? So just that little small shift in how you talk to yourself every single day. Another way is I am affirmations. Most people want to say them to themselves first, then they whisper them, and then they look in the mirror. The goal is to look in the mirror, look yourself in the eyes with self-love, and say to yourself whatever you believe or whatever you're putting out into existence, right? That you haven't accomplished yet. So for example, I am confident, I am love, I am happy, I am accomplished. Whatever resonates with you, it can be the same thing or different things every single day, but that really will help you start changing your mindset. So again, it's 1% better every day. So positive, first is having the awareness. And then 2 actions you can take to evoke change are positive talk, positive affirmations, positive self-talk. So you just really want to invoke that change by taking the action. Here's the thing, Caroline. People might want to know how you do it, but the best thing they can do is actually do it. Because so many people want to do it, but they don't do it, right? So I hope the listeners that are listening right now are able to invoke the change, because the work is where the change happens and where you can shift your mindset.
It's funny you bring that part up because, as you know, I coach female entrepreneurs on LinkedIn and how to start, grow, and scale in there. And I meet with so many women and they just want to know, like, how did I get over 10K? Or how do I book these speaking engagements? Or how do I have this podcast? And I'm like, so much work, mindset, taking action behind the scenes has gone on to make it happen. There's not going to be an easy button that you click and all this is going to happen for you. You actually have to do the work. And it took me 1.5 years to get to where I'm at now. And to your point, it took you 2.5 years to get to where you are now. And you've now training your clients to do it in under 90 days, which is incredible.
Absolutely. And that's the key. People don't see what happens behind the scenes, right? There's so much that goes on behind the scenes. Ups, downs, crying, happiness, joy, like all the emotions. It is a roller coaster. But the key is to do the work and to stay on for the long haul, right? Don't quit on yourself. The worst thing you can ever do for yourself is quit on yourself. Believe in yourself that you can do it and it will happen.
I love that you said that because I literally get asked all the time too, like, tell me about how you grew your podcast or tell me about how, you blew up your LinkedIn. And I'm like, I just stayed in it every single day. And yes, there were plenty of days I woke up, I did not feel like doing it. I was in a mood or didn't get a lot of sleep or just not feeling it at all. And I just kept grinding it out. And that's what happens. Like, these are the results that you can get. What you do for your job, what I do for my job, it all just takes time. And so whoever's listening to this podcast, if you're doing something right now or trying to do something or want to try something new and you're beating yourself up because it's not happening right this second for you, it will. Just stay in the game.
100%. Consistency is the key. And it will happen. Most people give up, and that's why it doesn't happen for them. And that's really a shame. So the listeners, I just want you to know, like, you can do it. Don't give up and don't quit on yourself.
Okay, let's go to the last piece of your framework, which is the accountability piece. Now, tell me, is that being self-accountable, or are you having someone that you love or that you hire hold you accountable, or both?
So it's a combination of both. It's holding yourself accountable, but it is also hiring someone that does accountability for you, right? And with you, right? Because most people fall off after 4 to 6 weeks of any new habit because they don't have accountability and they don't know how to hold themselves accountable, right? So once you are working and hire someone that helps hold you accountable, then they'll teach you how to hold yourself accountable. So you don't have to work with them forever, right? But initially, it's super important to have someone hold you accountable. And I like to have someone that's a couple steps ahead of me so I can see the vision of where I'm going, because they've already been where I am. And that's the key. So they understand where you are so they can take you and move you forward.
I love that you said that. And I am assuming I know the answer to this, but for me, at least, hiring a coach, hiring an expert, hiring someone, like you said, that's a couple steps ahead of me to help me has been the game changer and the supercharger for me. Yes, I could have, stumbled around on my podcast, but instead I invested in a podcast mastermind with a coach who has a massive podcast. Just any of those things, any of the clients I have that I teach LinkedIn to, working with me has supercharged the entire process. So what would be your top advice for a high achieving entrepreneur that's trying to get to the next level?
Invest in yourself and hire a coach that is a couple steps ahead of you, where your vision is and you see yourself in 1 year from now or 5 years from now. And interview multiple coaches, because every coach is not for every person. And I think that's really important. And also, you will outgrow your coaches and move on to other coaches, right? I've had multiple coaches throughout my life and career, and they've all played a huge part and had a purpose in my life. But when the time was up, the time was up. And there's no hard feelings, right? You've outgrown them because you're growing and they've got you to where you want it to be. So investing in yourself is not selfish. It is necessary self-care for you.
Yes, I love that you brought the outgrowth piece too, because a lot of times I meet with people and guess what? Working with a coach is going to take time and it's going to take money, but it's going to be worth it. Every time I've worked with a coach, no matter what it was for, it comes back in tenfold to me as far as results, as far as relationships, as far as my expanding my network, all the things.
100%. And that's the thing. If listeners are out there that they have never invested in themselves for anything, like maybe they've never bought a fancy purse or I don't know, a fancy, I don't know, went out to a fancy dinner, right? I know, or never just spent money on them. This is the best opportunity to do that, right? And there will be fear that comes up, but the opportunity, to overcome that fear is so much greater that you will be thanking yourself because it will come back tenfold, 100%.
Okay, so you have a book coming up. Let's hear about it. I want to hear all the things.
I sure do. So my book, Exhausted to Energized, 90 Days to Your Best Self, launches on Amazon November 12th. There is an ebook version, which you don't have to have Kindle for to download, and also the paperback. So I recommend getting both, right? Get the ebook and then get the paperback as a bonus because there is so much value in this book. Oh my gosh, so much value. So it is to help people who have chronic illness, pain, trauma, burnout, really just want to overcome exhaustion because everyone's exhausted, right? At the end of the day, everyone's exhausted. And how to bridge that gap to energized and thriving in life in 90 days or less, right? So it compresses time for you. It walks you through my journey from the beginning to where I am now and what I went through and how to overcome that. It also has activities in there. I call it the heart work section because everything I do is my heart work. As I learned through my journey how to love myself and then I could love others. And that is the work. And that's what we talked about, Caroline. The work is what's going to get you to the other side, right? So I'm just excited to help all of those people that are silently suffering and afraid to admit that they're exhausted and that nothing worked and they are sick of spending any more time, don't want to spend any more time in doctors' offices.
I love it. So as we wrap up, how can our listeners find you?
Absolutely. So I'm on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Robyn Engelson. So it's at Robyn Engelson, ROBYNENGELSON. And my website is the best way also to at robynengelson.com.
Thanks, Robyn.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. And for all the listeners out there, if no one's told you today, I'm proud of you and I love you.